It's been a while, hasn't it, since I've been here doing a review and not some crappy top list? Well, today I'm here to review a film I recently watched called Summer Wars. To be quite honest, I enjoyed this movie, but then again, I enjoy almost anything I watch, so there's nothing new there. But even still, there are many flaws with this film. Let's talk about them in my review of the anime film Summer Wars. Summer Wars is about Oz, a central hub of information which controls almost all aspects of everyday life in the world. When mad genius Kenji Koiso is asked by a secret crush Natsu to accompany him on a job, he is brought to her family household for her grandmother's 90th birthday. There he is forced to pretend to be Natsuki's fiance. When Kenji receives a mysterious text message that contains a code for him to decipher, he solves it for some odd reason. The code Kenji solves turns out to be the security code for Oz, allowing a mysterious AI to gain access to all information and accounts in Oz. Now, at first glance, the plot for Summer Wars bears a striking resemblance to the plot of a Digimon movie named Digimon Our War Game, which was actually written by the same writer. But for the sake of this review, I'll try to disregard the fact that Summer Wars was a direct ripoff of one of my favorite childhood movies for the sake of removing bias from this review. So to start off, one of the main flaws of Summer Wars was the unoriginality and predictability of it all. Almost everything this movie has to offer has been done before, and in most cases better in other movies and shows. Even the theme of family, which is probably the movie's greatest aspect, has been done better, especially in my personal favorite anime film of all time, and Hosoda's greatest film, Wolf Children. As for predictableness, the climax of the film, at least towards the end, felt very predictable and much too convenient, which brings me to my next point, plot convenience. Everything that occurs in this movie is the result of character convenience. The fact that the code Kenji deciphers just so happens to allow the AI to gain access into Oz, the fact that Kenji is a mad genius that can decipher said code, the fact that said code, which is simple enough to be solved by a high schooler, gains access to an information network that controls and monitors electronic services all over the world, from shopping to competitive gaming to healthcare facilities, the fact that Kazuma just so happens to be King Kazuma, and so on and so forth. Believe me, I can go on all day. All of it felt much too convenient for me, but considering this is more of a family movie, I suppose you have to also consider the target audience for the film as well. Most people watching this movie probably don't look too much into plot convenience, but as for me, it was a glaring downside. But despite this, the movie did have some positives. The theme of family was excellently portrayed, and the greatest aspect of the movie. It shows the close bond that all families should share, and that you should love and forgive all members despite your differences. This movie shows the true meaning of family, a group of people that should support each other through thick and thin. Whether or not you're a blood relation is irrelevant, and this film shows the meaning of being a cooperative and strong family. The characters of Summer Wars are really nothing to write home about, and honestly I would go as far as say they're incredibly subpar. The good news is you don't have to remember all the characters and the role they play in the show, because the characters that actually play a role and or matter can be counted on one hand. Our main protagonist, Kenji, aside from being a mad genius, is basically a superhuman with his ability to solve incredibly complex math equations in his mind, has no defining traits. He's very interesting and uninspired, and aside from his enormous amount of character convenience, doesn't contribute to much of the story. Kazuma, also known in Oz as King Kazuma, is a kid who has a vast amount of martial art experience and is somehow able to apply them in the cyber world of Oz. He is also very uninspired and honestly doesn't have many defining traits, if any. Lastly, for the main characters is Natsuki. Despite all the film would have you to believe what with their place in the story and her climax / defining moment in the end of the show, Natsuki plays little to no role in the plot. For most of the film, her only role is the medium to which Kenji is introduced to the family. Even her defining moment towards the end of the movie, she could have been easily replaced by any other family member, although she was adorable. As for the rest of the family, the worst part is that the family is much too large to really care for any of them, with the exception of the grandmother. Most of Natsuki's family have hardly any lines, most of which are only used to portray their one defining trait. A majority of them just stood in the background, making them feel incredibly one-dimensional. This does not, however, take away from the overall theme of family for me personally, but I can definitely see how it would for others. Now we get to the coup de grace, the meat and potatoes, the best part of Summer Wars, the art and animation. Summer Wars was animated by Studio Madhouse, and if there's one thing you know about Madhouse, if they want something to look good, it will look good, and Summer Wars is no exception. I had no idea going in that Summer Wars was done by Madhouse, and once I saw it in the beginning of the film, I was immediately expecting something above average, and I was not disappointed. From the very beginning, we were treated to a view of Oz, and I was immediately blown away. They portrayed the internet like utopia perfectly with the color palette. Animation in Oz was incredibly smooth. It was truly something to behold. One of, not the only thing I credit to No Game No Life was his use of red outlines to portray his video game world, but little did I know that they did the exact same thing in this film, and it works just as well. They also do a great job of separating the real world and the world of Oz, making it easy to distinguish between the two while also capturing the essence of them both. The art and animation for Summer Wars is one that I place in high regard, both being someone who likes bright art styles and color palettes and Madhouse. I can't say too much for the sound of Summer Wars, considering I hardly even noticed its existence, so I'm going to keep this brief. The sound was just average, not really noticeable, but not bad or hindering either. One thing I can commend it on is its upbeat atmosphere that helped play upon the innocent family life in the real world and the tone set in those situations. The voice actors in the sub were good, no real complaints, but no standout performances. In the end, I really did enjoy Summer Wars, as I do most everything I watch. Maybe it was the fact that it was so similar to one of my favorite childhood movies, Digimon Our War Game. Either way, even though I enjoyed this film, it is not without its fair share of flaws. I don't think it's Hosoda's best film by far, but I do think it's good in its own right. And considering its target audience and its value as a great family movie, I really do feel Summer Wars is good in those regards. but critically I do think it is just above par from a more objective point of view. For all the recommendations, I point you towards Wolf Children for being Hosoda's best film in my opinion, and does the theme of family much better. I also recommend Digimon Our War Game for basically being Summer Wars with Digimon and one of my favorite childhood movies. As for alternate opinions on this movie, I recommend you check out Kevin Nia's review. His review is extremely well done, and I think you guys should check that out as well. So that wraps it up for my review of Summer Wars, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I really did enjoy this movie. I think it was, like I said, I think it was really due to the similarities between one of my favorite childhood movies, but at the same time, it was a director's off. So if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like down below, and tell me what you guys thought of Summer Wars in the comments. Alright, I will see you guys later.